Well, the day started off busy, and the night is going to end kind of busy. It's not going to be a late night, but I had to drop the girls off at dance. Amy took Oliver over to some baseball workout. And now I'm just waiting to get ready to go last trip with Born to Dance. Right after he goes last trip, go pick the girls up at dance. It's just down the road, and then come back for his race. Our day started busy in the sense that I had a physical this morning. Had to get one done for Standard Canada, physical and eye test, and it went well. Fit as a fiddle, as they say. I got to train some horses this morning in the race bike. You know, our week has started off good, with the exception of a couple of injuries. She sits at the bar, got injured on Saturday, and she is back now. I want to go check her out. She's back now from Dr. Brown's clinic with us. She got some healing up to do, but hopefully if everything goes well over the next 2 weeks, she will be in good shape. Pull the shoes also. Training on Monday morning. Ended up pulling up a little bit sore left front. She's done this a couple of times in the last 3 weeks. After her last start, she was sore the next day for 5 days. We were sure it was a pus pocket. It presented like one. And over the next 4 days, she got progressively sounder. There wasn't a lot of infection come out of her foot. So it was a little curious what had taken place. And I believe in hindsight now what had taken place was she has a tiny line on the outside wing of her foot. This will heal great, but it poses a unique opportunity for her and for us. Now, although this wing will heal, if we were to somehow get her in foal right now with her breeding and fold of the right stud, she would probably be worth quite a bit more money than she is as a non-winner as a two trotter. Now, is she going to mature and come back as a much better trotter? I have every reason to believe that, but I have no earth-shaking evidence to prove that. There's no way of knowing. So when you look at the two paths we could take, and there's nothing saying you can get her in full. This is a very green 3-year-old filly. You know, it's well documented our concerns with.
So I've always put the hobbles on second trip. Do you want hobbles on second
That's fine.
trip?
Yeah, you can put everything on them. That's fine. You know the documented issues we've had so far, like Punch the Clock's been slow getting in full. Is it realistic to believe that she could just take the harness off, be checked see if she's suitable for mating right now, and then in turn be bred, and then even further in turn get in full first crack? Now, it did happen with Stay Special when she was injured, but it's not a slam dunk. But I guess the only saving grace is option B to race her isn't an option right now. She has to rest regardless. So I guess this is, well, I guess truthfully speaking, now that I say it out loud, one could easily lead to the path of the second. If she doesn't get in full, she still has to stand and heal up. So that's the route we're taking. We were able to procure what we couldn't over the last 2 months. So a breeding that was unused for whatever reason. I'm sure you can figure out there's a million reasons why you wouldn't use a breeding, but tactical approach. We found a breeding out there for tactical approach. So Pull the Shoes is going to be bred to tactical approach. I did defer to our panel of experts when it came to breeding this filly, and one of their first picks on the top of the list was tactical approach. And I said, gentlemen, as far as I know, it's full and closed. We couldn't get any before. And then when it came to now, for whatever reason, as we start to wind down breeding season, one did come available. So I guess that could be a very good path to be on with Pull the Shoes. So although you never want to see a horse get injured, when you see a filly that hasn't come back to where we'd hope, she isn't to the Stallion Series level yet. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys are finding out now. It's a very difficult thing to get into is the Stallion Series. Insider Trading's race the other day, although she faltered, the race went like 55. So there's no, oh, well, she can't do the non-winners of 2. Let's see if she can do in the Stallion Series. You have to be up for it. And right now, especially with what went on, she wasn't quite there. So that's the updates with respect to the 2 injuries this week. But if you step away from the injuries or just wall them off as separate instances, we've had a pretty good week. We had a winner last night in Ontario. I know I'm quietly watching Oak Grove this afternoon. We get a couple of long shots and then 3-point racing, but it is pouring rain there right now, and that track is not weather friendly, let's say. So we'll see how that plays out over the next couple hours. I saw the draw for Memory and Imagination. Looks great. Time Is on My Side and Arson. Both. Arson, I told you guys there was no cakewalks in the Stallion series. He caught some killers too there. So both the colts are one is favored, I think pretty low odds, and the other one a little bit higher. But at the same token, Time Is on My Side went to the vet this week. Arson, we have a clear path of what we're trying to achieve with him now. Pickpocket went to the vet this week. He is in a good spot, so I'm eager to see where he is going to draw. And as I started off with, Memory and Imagination, 7-2, I think, in a 6-horse field, going for 100. 6-horse field. I know it's not like considered a Grand Circuit race, but for the people out there, geez, I thought it'd be a great prep race for a lot of those Grand Circuit horses. Now, some of them are racing in the New Jersey Sires or already in Kentucky, and it's not really on the radar. But man, for the money they're racing for, you'd think it would be, right? I guess that's all hindsight. Could be 3 divisions of 30 also. So, now today, as I said, I get in here early because I had a physical. I wanted to get done. I didn't want to have to do that and then come back and train horses. So there was 5 I wanted to train. One horse had a shoe off, so he couldn't train today. Now everybody trained, but the ones that I went with, I put in the race bike and went fast. I wanted to know what they were up to. I wanted to get a clear view of where they are in their training, because maybe I hadn't gone with them a lot, or maybe I just thought that I wanted to push them and see what they would do today. How did they eat their lunch? How are they going to jog tomorrow? 2 questions. At least one that has been answered, because the ones that I trained had eaten their lunch and seemed very, very good. But we'll see how they jog tomorrow. And those were LT Troubadour, Fire and Shine, and Manhattan Money. Now, Manhattan Money, one of those, it's happened before with the international monies. One of those international monies where, I'll tell you what, you're lucky that you bought up all the shares of Manhattan Money over the last month and a half, or there wouldn't be any there. I mean, I had kept all those shares all spring long, and then slowly but surely everybody picked away, and then he trained a couple of good miles, and poof, they were gone. You're lucky, because he trained like an absolute beast this morning. I trained him in the race bike in 210, last half in 102 and a piece, with a bow in his neck, and he looked extremely good. Now, this was kind of predicated by the fact that can't go on the jog cart anymore. You try and go on the jog cart faster than 220 hits the jog cart, so it's either buy an extra long jog cart, which I'm not doing, or putting in the race bike. Put him in the race bike, which is an easy fix. We have the gigantic race bike here that we have for our greatest ending. A huge update with him also that caught me off guard today. We'll get to that in just a second. So, Manhattan Money trained like a beast. Fire and Shine, now by herself. Now we expected a lot. We expected a lot of. I lost my train of thought. Of Fire and Shine, we bought her. We hoped she'd be a good filly, and training by yourself, you never know, right? This is a filly that wears an open bridle, and how would she train by herself? 2.8 last quarter and 30 seconds last half in a minute. She was very, very strong. And for those of you out there saying, wow, Anthony, isn't that quick? This is exactly what we've been building to. Year over year, we're actually slowed down from where we've been in the past. The year that we had, well, I'll tell you what, the year that we had Swandre the Giant, we had trained everybody in 2.5 or 2.6 on Mother's Day at Tomiko Training Center, which is a half-mile track. Now, it might have been a little short, right? That track was always a little short, but still, it is what it was, and very happy with the way they trained today. So Manhattan Money was great. Fire and Shine was great. So was LT Troubadour. 210 last half and 102 last quarter, and 30 and 2, 30 and 3, and he was very strong also. Again, this horse in particular, I want to watch him. He wears aluminums up front just because of his gait, and we put the hobbles on him just to help him out. I wanted to get him up in the rigging and up on his toes. Now, he doesn't have to race till July, but you just can't roll into July and say, okay, let's go, everybody. It doesn't always work that way. It can with some horses, but not every horse. And I just felt that LT Troubadour was an inch-by-inch type horse. Every week he got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And I just wanted to put him in a position where I asked him to do something that maybe he was uncomfortable doing. And when he came in, he was throwing his head, he was sharp as a tack. But I want to watch his knees too. He's a big, heavy horse with a pair of aluminums on up front. Not always conducive with soundness, but he seemed very sound in the mile, and when I saw him after, his knees seemed cold. So I'm interested to see how he jogs tomorrow morning. It can be a little tricky. It's supposed to rain all morning, but it is what it is. So interested to see how that plays out again, so you can see how our day was. And then to top it all off, now I had told you guys the other night I wasn't really making excuses for Greatest Ending. I thought he raced adequate. Now, below adequate, but I looked at the race, I'm like, 22 days since his last mile. I know he's racing against horses that he should beat, but he wasn't really prepared to go mile 54 over Northfield. I just felt that there was a lot that went into his race, the mediocrity of his race. And then today, I got a call from Dr. Latessa saying, I got Greatest Ending's blood work back this morning. I meant to talk to you about it, and I wanted to treat him this afternoon. Now, at this point, I'm gone for the day. But he did come back and treat him. His AST was only 1,400, which isn't really that high for Greatest Ending, but his CK was 12,000, which means he absolutely did tie up on race night at Northfield Park, which I'm a little surprised because he didn't really show me any indication that he was tying up when he raced, other than the fact that he didn't go a great mile. His mechanics were good. He wasn't on a line. He didn't seem like he was laboring, other than he was flat finishing up his mile. Everything I saw, and I said this in a video the other night, I really didn't expect to see a whole lot wrong with his blood. But again, I think I'm selling the horse short in saying that, because 12,000 is a fairly astronomical number. Now, he's used to tying up. He's a tie-up horse. But even it doesn't matter whether you're used to tying up or not. 12,000 of a CK in a CK. Now that would be 12,000. We drew his blood on Monday morning, right? 12,000 on Monday morning of a CK means he absolutely 100% tied up. His AST would somewhat settle around 5,000-6,000. Now we can probably get it down low enough. They write that class Sunday and Tuesday. We can probably get it down low enough to race him on Tuesday, but I am still a little surprised that his AST was that high and he competed the way he did. And again, as I say it, there's that little voice saying, Anthony, come on, we bought this horse to be a Grand Circuit horse, and you're surprised to get beaten the non-winners of nothing at Northfield. It's just the way he was rounding into shape, the time he had off. I just felt that everything that happened the other night was explainable without a high AST, and the fact that it is a high AST is surprising. So very happy with the way the horse is trained. We never want injuries, and obviously they're going to happen when we have a gigantic burn. But when we have one injury where a horse looks like she's going to recover, which is great news considering the injury, and a second injury with proximity to breeding season that allows us to maybe get a crack or two at her to get in foal to a top sire that was otherwise unavailable when we were looking to breed our mares. I had looked to grab a tactical approach breeding earlier on for a couple of our mares, and there was none out there, none to be found. There was one that I think Steve had bid on in, or maybe he bought it, I'm not sure, in on Preferred or On Gate one weekend, but there wasn't really any out there, and there was this week. So I guess fortuitous is the word to use. We're trying to take a crappy situation and turn it into a very interesting situation, and I think we may be able to if we can get this filly in full. So the horse is trained good. The injuries are on different recoveries, obviously, but the injuries are on their way forward now, hopefully. Without hiccups would be great. An explanation as to what we saw on Sunday night, which I really didn't see happening. And then obviously, as I said, the way the horse had trained in the racing we've had. Some racing luck so far. Already a winner on Monday in our first race. We had some bombers, long bombers in Kentucky. We're trying to deal with that best we can. Today we have 3 Point Blue Chip, who's not a long bomber, in Kentucky. We have Born to Dance, very similar in odds and the way the races may shape up for Born to Dance and 3 Point Blue Chip. And then we have the rest of the week shaping up great with a great draw from Memory and Imagination. Time is on my side. A tough battle, but that's the way racing is for a horse like Arson also. He's going to give you the best race he can. You know that for sure. And he still will be in a decent spot to do so. And then just waiting on the draw for Pickpocket. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you had a great day. Good luck to my partners in Born to Dance. If he races relatively good, I'm going to give you an update maybe after the race of how things went. Otherwise, pretty happy overall. I get 19 minutes to get this horse warmed up and get back to the dance studio to pick up the girls. Very doable. Very doable. Take care.